Hi, this is Jeannie from Trendy Tree, and today I'm going to show you how to make a garland out of fresh magnolia and, well, what I have is Leland cypress. I went yesterday and snipped some magnolia twigs and some Leland cypress and put them in buckets of water, and I'm going to use just what I call a seagrass rope for my base. Now, this rope, it's less than a half an inch in diameter, and I think it's actually called coconut husk rope, but it's just a rope, and you can use, almost any kind. I measured my mantle. This is going to be a fresh green garland to go on my outdoor mantle. I measured my mantle, and it's 54 inches. So then I measured a 24-inch drop on each side. So that was 102 inches, so a half of that is 51. So I cut my rope 102 inches, and I put a chenille stem at my halfway marker, because I'm going to make my garland. I'm going to start from the ends and work toward the center. I'll do that on each side. And then I brought some other things from the Trendy Tree warehouse, and I'm not sure exactly what all I'll use yet, but I brought some branches. Sometimes it's hard to know exactly what you're going to need until you get things laid out, and sometimes you won't have enough, and sometimes you'll have too much. Excuse me. I have these snowed berry branches, and they're pretty long. I brought out 3 of those, and I'll put the numbers of the things that I used, in the video. But this is EC4009, and it's got like 3 or 4 twigs on it. I brought out 3 of those, and then I brought out these raspberry branches. Now these are lighted branches, and they come 2 to a set. And they're battery operated. They take 3 AA batteries, and you can set a timer or just on or off. I'm going to use those. I have 2 sets of those, so we'll see, like I say, you just don't know till you start putting things up there what you're going to need. And then I brought some garland. When we were at some garlands, some wood bead garland. When we were at market the last time, we just saw wooden bead garlands used everywhere, all year long, all seasons, spring, summer, and fall and winter. So I brought out some garlands. This is just a natural wood garland, and that one is XA117418. And then I have a solid red, and I believe this one is a raz garland, and it is G4014110. And then I picked out one that was red and natural, and it is G4006745. It's also a raz garland. And then I picked out this one. I'm not going to take it off the paper just yet, but it's made of pine cone and wood berries and looks like cinnamon sticks. It still has a little bit of a smell to it, but I thought, well, I'll just see. But what I saw at market was they were just using 3 or 4 strands of different kinds of garland. So these are all things that I have available, and we'll just see. Let me get these out of the way. So what I'm going to do right now is make the green part. So let me readjust my camera so you can see a little closer. Okay, so I'm going to take my rope, and like I say, I did a halfway marker. So I'm going to start at one end of the rope. I'm going to start right there, and I'm going to start with some magnolia. Doesn't really matter if you start with magnolia or something else, but and it's hard to know exactly how many clippings you'll need, because you just don't know sometimes till you get finished. So I'm going to take the end, and that's going to be my starting point. I'm going to take that and just wrap it around that around the rope with some paddle wire. And this is just green paddle wire. I'm just going to take that in and get it started good. The paddle wire just helps you to hold the wire tight. I mean, you can just pull that with your hands and keep it nice and tight. You just go around that 2 or 3 times. And then I'm going to take the cypress, move down the rope a little bit, kind of cover up my last end. Go ahead and wrap that up. And just keep adding layer after layer. Each time you want to cover up your last end and move down the rope a little bit. And if you can, when you do your clippings, try to keep them in water till you get ready for them. Now, fresh greens, it just depends on where you live as to how long they will last. We're in Mississippi, so ours are not going to last long, but they'll last, you know, a couple of weeks for sure. This is kind of messy. It's a job you'll want to do outside. And once you get your garland made and you lay it on your mantel or table, you can kind of, you know, pull those limbs to the side or however. Now, I've been noticing on Pinterest that a lot of the fresh garlands, or any garlands, they're not centered evenly across the mantel. They're kind of swooped down longer on one side, and I thought about that for my mantel, but my mantel back here on the porch has a door, one door going to the garage and then another door going to the house. So it doesn't, I don't think, really lend itself to that. But in the house, I could see I could do a swag, kind of a swag, and, you know, let it be long on one side, and then on the other side of the fireplace use a lantern or something like that to kind of offset it. That would be pretty. Of course, my magnolia, there's some big leaves and they kind of stick out every which way for a little bit. And if I get in a pinch, I can always run, you know, out here in the backyard and snip off some pine limbs. You can always do that. Always kind of have a backup plan. A great place to get greenery is at a Christmas tree farm. When they start cutting trees and trimming those trees, lots of times though, they're happy for you to pick up limbs. And some places will sell you some limbs. that piece of cedar cypress was a little bit small, so I'm going to go with another piece. It smells so good. And I'm just keep alternating magnolia and then the cypress. And I'm not, you know, pulling the leaves off of the stems. I'm just going ahead and just wrapping my wire around the leaves. That'll just kind of help hold it even that much more. I saw this technique. I learned how to do this by watching Martha Stewart. She had a wreath book, and I made my first magnolia wreath based on her instructions on a wreath. So I figured, well, you could do a garland the same way. Now at this point, I'm going to cut my wire and I'm to my halfway point, so I'm going to turn this around. This is what I have so far. Turn this around and I'm going to work from the other end. So now I'm going to start it at this end and work back toward the center. Okay, now this is my last piece of magnolia, so I'm going to kind of put it toward the middle. And then I'm going to add a bunch of cedar in right in that very center. Cypress, cedar, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to lay some branches. So I have branches going down this way on this side and down this way on the right side. So I'm going to just lay in some more cedar. And then I have a little area right here in the center that, you know, may be a good place for a bow once I get it on the mantle. Okay. And then once I get it on the mantle, I can take some of these shorter pieces well, I could go ahead, I think, and wire that in right here, but to kind of fill in that center, kind of take a couple of branches. This is going to be sitting on the mantle against the brick wall, so I'm not going to worry so much about this back side, but I want some of the cedar coming off the front. So I'll wire in a couple of pieces right here. And then after I get it on the mantle, I can, you know, kind of rearrange it a little bit. Not a whole lot, but I can make some of the pieces show up more if I need to. Okay, now I'm going to end that off. And see, that'll be a good place to put a bow or something right there in the center. Okay, so there's our garland. Back up. So it's pretty big, it's pretty heavy. Of course it's messy right now, but we'll get it on the mantle and then we'll finish decorating it. Now you can kind of, you know, position things. You may have to twist some pieces around and that sort of thing. And if you have any bad leaves, you can always snip them off. I saw one while ago, but now I don't see it. But anyway, so now we're ready to put our red berries on. Now the next thing I did was take 3 of the little clear plastic push pins, and I tapped one on the top of the mantle, one on each end, and one in the center. And I went ahead and I took a piece of a chenille stem and wrapped around that. That's what I plan to use to hang my garland. So the next thing I'm going to do, I've decided that I'm going to put some lights in it. So I have these little copper wire lights that are electric, and I'm going to lay those in across the garland. This strand is 20 feet, and it has 120 warm white light, so it'll be just right for my mantle. I've used these inside the house and I really like them. Now my mantle inside has outlets, you know, on each end, which is great, so just plug those in. For this one I'll have to run an extension cord off the side, but that's okay. I'll put something over in that corner a little later and cover that up, but I'm going to just lay these, work these in along the garland. I'm going to work with the lights on, that helps. And I'm going to try to find the center part to my lights and go ahead and I'm going to secure that into that chenille stem that I have marking the center of the mantle. Just to have a center point. Okay, and then I'm just going to take the lights and just kind of work them in. I just love these tiny lights, and usually when I have lights like this, now you know you can usually put them on a timer, but I usually just turn them on and leave them on. They just don't give off any heat, and I'll just leave them on. I'm not securing them or anything. The wire doesn't show, so I'm just kind of just laying them in there. Now I have those lighted branches too, so I'm going to put those kind of in the center toward each end. I'll do that next. Okay, and I'll hide my cords later. When I'm all finished with everything, then I'll get my cords tucked away neatly. Now next I'm going to do my lighted branches. I think I'm just going to use one set of the lighted branches. Go ahead and turn those on. One set is 2 pieces, and the pieces are attached, so you've got about 12 inches between the branches. So I'm just going to try to get that in about the center. Put the timer to the back so it'll be out of the way. just kind of slide that branch under the garland. And of course the limbs are wired, so you can bend them as you need to. I'm going to kind of pull one to the front and bend it forward. Okay, sometimes you have to back off and look at it to see, you know, where it needs adjusting. And sometimes it helps if you've got somebody over there watching and say, you know, move it to the left, move it to the right, that kind of thing. Okay, so next we're going to use the snowy branches, and I'm going to cut some segments of those. Okay, now next I'm going to hang my beaded garland. I have 4 different styles of garland, and you just have to experiment with that on how you're going to drape it, you know, how you're going to layer it. I think 4 is probably too much. I'd rather go a little simpler, so I'm going to pick out 2 of the garlands, and we'll see about just hanging 2 strands. I think this natural wood garland, because it's a little bit lighter in color, and then the red. So this one is the heaviest, so I think I'll hang it first. And the way that I'm going to do that, now remember, I put the little push pin in the center and on each end. So I'm going to find the center of the garland, and secure it with that chenille stem that I have right there. I'm just going to twist that a couple of times because you know I'll probably have to change it. Alright, and then I'm going to take the other end, I'm just going to let it hang down a little bit and secure at this end. Okay, and I still have to take the tags off that garland. Let me see if that's even. It's pretty even. Okay, and then I'm going to take the other one. It's a natural and red bead. Find the center. And this one I'm going to drape right above this. Okay, and find my scissors and take those tags off. And I believe the last thing that I will do to kind of cover up this, just to make that look a little better, is hang a small bow right there with some tails, one on each end and one in the center. Well, I'm back. Carrie was going to help me do this, but she's tied up at the store, so I've been sending her pictures along, you know, as I do things. So she said, put that last strand of garland on there. So I'm going to go with 3. So I'm going to hang this one, and since it's the longest one, I'm going to come down and hang it below these. I can use my same chenille stem. And I'll just let that hang down like that. see how that looks. Okay? All right. Okay. Now I need to go find some red velvet ribbon. I'm going to start out with some extra tails. And like I say, I'm going to make these longer than they probably need to be, but that's okay. I can trim them up after I get done. I said bow dabber, this is the easy bow maker, y'all. It's hot out here on the back porch. So I'm just gonna drop that down between the pegs and just pull those tails toward me. And then I'm just gonna put my ribbon on the spool holder. And then I'm gonna make another long tail, pinch it together, drop it in there, pull the tail down, give the ribbon a twist, and I'm gonna make a 6-inch loop. I'm gonna come out to the 6-inch mark on my easy bow maker. And Browser's getting excited, y'all. He's running around. It's his playtime of the day. Making a loop on the other side. 6 inches. Drop that down. And give it a twist. Make another 6-inch loop. Going to keep my loops. I don't know if you can see that. Let me move my bow ribbon off the bow maker. Browser. No, Browser. Well, he's... I'm sorry, y'all. He's... Browser, stop, stop, Browser. I'm sorry. Okay, so now I've got 2 loops on each side. Twist. I'm going to make another loop on each side. This time I'm going to come in and make it about 5 inches. Make that loop a little bit smaller. Make it about 5 inches on the opposite side. Twist. Browser, stop. Y'all, he's digging up a hole right here beside the porch and trying to get him to not dig. If y'all have any tricks to teach one to not dig, I sure would like to hear it. Drop that in, give it a twist, get your right side up. Now I've got 4 loops on each side, 2 of the 6-inch and 2 of the 5-inch. So I'm going to stop at this point, except I'm going to make this last loop. I'm going to make one more single loop, and it's going to be about 2.5 inches, and it's going to be my center loop, and it's going to cover up my mechanics. So I'm going to drop that down, and then I'm ready to cut off my ribbon. Okay, just going to press that down and ease it up off the board. Keep it all nice and stacked. I'm going to take my floral wire and go right over that last loop, bring it around to the back or the bottom. I'm going to hold that tight, bring that wire to the back and twist it tight as you can. Just hold the wire and twist the bow. These tails are long, okay? Now you're ready to fluff the bow. So we're going to pull that center loop over to cover up that wire, okay? And then you got tails, we got extra tails, and we're just going to pull those loops out, fluff them up. Okay, and now we're ready to go hang our bow and trim our tails. So now I'm going to take my bow and just secure it in this chenille stem in the center. Okay, well, that's my center bow, but it does look a little bit small. I probably should have made these loops larger because these loops on the ends are 6 inches, so I'm going to go back and I'm going to make the same bow, but I'm going to make like a 7-inch loop to start with and then drop down to like 6 inches. So I'll do it the same way, so I'm not going to go back and film that again. Okay, so I made a larger bow. The only thing that I did different was I did 3 loops on the back, on that first layer at 7 inches, then 2 loops at 6 inches, and then I did my center loop. And I'm just going to attach it with that chenille stem right to the center. And if you have a wayward piece of greenery that's, you know, not laying just like you want it to, you can always, you know, put a little piece of floral wire around it and secure it to make it lay in place. Now, all we need to do now is kind of give these ribbons a little curl to give them a little body. And then we'll decide how long we need to make them. I have a little bit of the cypress left, so I'm going to tuck that in kind of right in the center there, just to fill that in a little more. Okay. Okay, so now all we have to do is finish up the ribbons. Thank you so much for the help today.
You're so welcome. I did so much.
This is a Trendy Tree project.
Okay, so we're just going to roll these ribbons, the tails up, roll them up.
Well, don't roll them all the way.
Well, how far up do you want them?
Okay. Well, before they hang about like that, because you know when your daddy starts putting fire,
he's going to burn it up.
Putting wood in the fireplace. In the fireplace. Fire. All right, so these on the ends, I'm going to leave them long, but I'm going to go ahead and dovetail them. So I'm just going to fold them and cut across the fold. And that way, if those droop down at some point, I can always cut them.
Right, I just thought we would roll them up.
Roll them up, roll them up.
Roll them up, get them out the way.
And just put a little bit of...
If we had some setting spray, I think it'd be great.
There's such a thing as...
It's like your hair. When you roll your hair, some setting spray.
I thought you meant there was something that you could use on ribbon.
No, ma'am. No, see?
Okay, I like that.
Should be cute.
Dovetail those ends. So I wound up using 2 of the snowberry sprays, 1 set of the Raz lighted berry branches, 3 garlands. What did I say?
No, it's not you. I did it backwards.
And the rest of it is natural stuff. So that's it. If you're not familiar with Trendy Tree, I hope you'll drop by the website. It's Carrie's website, Carrie and David, and they have all kinds of wreath making supplies, everything from forms, ribbons, mesh, flowers, signs, and collectible ornaments. And we also have a new group called the Trendy Tree Wreath Club. If you'd like to join that group, just look it up on Facebook. It's free right now.
Right now?
Well, right now, I don't know.
For a minute?
Well, it's free right now anyway. But if you like making wreaths or crafts or putting floral arrangements together, then it's a group of like people that like that kind of stuff. Thanks for watching.
You can text me.
Oh, tell about that. Okay.
Okay, so you can text us now.
Yes.
You can text us. The number is 662-200-4441.
Okay, so you send
just text me,
any message.
hey.
Say hey, and you'll get one back from Carrie that contains a link. So you click on that link, and then that takes you to community.com, and you have to, give us permission to send you text. Now, this is not text regarding your order,
No.
updates, tracking numbers, or anything like that. It's that those kind of messages will still come from the website. This would be like if we have news to tell you, specials, or something like that.
Like I was going to send one out in the morning that said we were going to do a garland on Thursday. Now you've wrecked my plans.
Well, see, I had to do it today. I got to get my nails done tomorrow.
Okay.
All right. Thank y'all. See you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, bye-bye. I see you later.